Hello everyone, welcome to ASN Connects. Today's agenda is AWS and DevOps overview. What exactly the AWS and DevOps environment? We will check here. So this is a general workflow for any AWS and DevOps project. That might be a e-commerce application, or that might be a banking application, or that might be a hospital, or any kind of application. This is a general workflow. Once the project source code is coming into the Git environment, as a DevOps engineer and AWS engineer, they will start their work. So initially we'll talk about the DevOps engineer's role. So they will go for create one project file based on that client requirement that is considered as pom.xml, that is project objective model file. So once that project objective model file is coming into picture, then that file is converted into the application. So in the DevOps environment, the DevOps engineer will take that project file and convert into the application by using different DevOps tools. Once the application is coming into picture, as a AWS engineer, they will provide the infrastructure for the application in the cloud environment. So as a AWS engineer, we are providing the infrastructure for application. As a DevOps engineer, we'll convert that project file into the application. So any kind of application it is, the same workflow we are having. So what exactly we will do in the DevOps environment? That means as a DevOps engineer, what exactly we will do in the DevOps environment? We'll check. This is the general DevOps environment. Total, we are having 8 stages. Out of 8 stages, the first one is plan stage. Based on the client requirement, as a project manager, they will go for create the structure. How we'll go for run that entire application in the smooth manner. So that's why here we'll go for create the entire structure. So here onwards, as a DevOps engineer, we'll start our work from this code stage. Here we are taking the pom.xml file. No need to worry, here code stage is nothing but no need to go with the coding environment and all. So coding environment is not required. So just we are taking the project files into our environment. That's why we are using this code stage. We are calling that one as source code management and a version control system. Source code management is nothing but it will go for access any type of programming language. That's why we are going with the source code management. Coming to here, a version control system. So from the starting onwards, it will go for provide the entire structure. So it will provide entire history to us. So that is considered as a version control system. Once we are taking the project into the cloud environment as well as for deployment case. So from the scratch onwards, entire history it will providing to us. So that is considered as a version control system here. Coming to build stage, here we will go for build the pom.xml. So why? Because we need to get to an artifact to test that one in the test environment. For that, we will send that pom.xml file into the build environment. Here we are having different build tools based on that project file. If the project file is a Java, we are using build tool as Maven. If the project file is Python, we will use PyBuild. If project file is .NET related, we will use MS Build. So likewise, as a DevOps engineer, we will go for use different build tools based on that application requirement. Once that project file is converted into the artifact, we will send that one into the test environment and then we will go for test that project file. If it is getting okay, then as a DevOps engineer, we will send that one into the production environment. For that, we are using the release stage. In the release stage, we are using CI/CD activity, that is continuous integration and continuous delivery tool. For that, we are using the tool called Jenkins here in the release stage. Once it is completing the test environment, we will send that one into the production environment. Here we are having the deploy stage. Here we are having different environments. One is configuration management, another one is infrastructure as a code, and one more is provisioning stage. total three environments we are having. Configuration management is nothing but it is an automation tool. So we need to provide the we need to provide the entire thing in the automation process. Just imagine if we want to go for do any work in all the servers at a time. So that is possible with this configuration management. Here we are using a tool called Ansible. So what exactly that Ansible will do? If we want to go for implement any kind of structure in all the servers, as a DevOps engineer will create one group. So in that group, we'll make all the servers, that group of servers, private IP, we are adding into the main server. So finally here we are having group of servers that is synchronizing to the main server. As a DevOps engineer, we will do the work in the main server. It will communicate to the sub servers. So that is possible with this configuration management. By using this at a time, we will do our work in the production environment. So it will go for reduce the ideal time of that application. So that is the case we are using this configuration management. Next one is infrastructure as a code. Just imagine if I want to provide the infrastructure for the application in the automation case, we will use this infrastructure as a code. Here we are using a tool called Terraform. So that by using Terraform file based on the requirement in any cloud environment, we'll go for provide the infrastructure. Coming to the provisioning stage, here we will go for provide the cloud provider. That might be any AWS, Azure, GCP. Likewise, any cloud provider will go for utilize in the provisioning stage. So likewise, we'll go for do the deployment stage. Coming to here, operate stage. Here we are having the virtualization and containerization. So whatever the application we are having, we'll go for deploy that one with the containers. For that purpose, we are having different tools, Docker and Kubernetes. Once, if we deploy the application in the containers, obviously the client will get more productivity as well as they will go for reduce the ideal time of the application. So as a DevOps engineer, we'll go for increase the productivity as well as revenue. So for that purpose, we are using this containerizations, Docker and Kubernetes. Coming to here, monitoring stage. This stage is generally using for monitoring all the system related information. That means servers activity. So what is happening inside of the server? What is the CPU utilization and the network packets in, network packets out? All the things will go for monitor with the help of monitoring stage. Here we are having several tools, Prometheus, Grafana, Nagios likewise. So by using these tools, we'll go for monitor the entire server. So this is generally DevOps environment we are having. So the input as project objective model file and output as the application. So in the DevOps environment, as per our workflow, we are converting that project file into the application. We completed that one. Next, once the application is coming out, as a AWS engineer, what they will do? They will go for provide the infrastructure. So this is the general cloud environment we are having. So in the cloud, we are having four stages: packages, software, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Packaged software is generally using for product-based activities. Infrastructure as a service means already we are having one application, we are providing the infrastructure for that application. And then coming to here, platform as a service, it is purely for developers perspective. Coming to here, software as a service, it is purely for support related activity. Coming to here, infrastructure as a service, here we are going with the application. From the DevOps environment, we are getting the application, we'll go for provide the infrastructure for that application. Once the application is running, plenty of data will generate. That data will be stored in the storage volumes. As a AWS engineer, will create the storage volume and allocated that one to the application so that whatever the data is coming out, that data will stored in these storage volumes. Coming to here, runtime. As a AWS engineer, what we will do? We will go for reduce the runtime of that application. So whenever the traffic is coming into the application must be responded to the customer. Then only the client will get more revenue. That means if the runtime of that application is less, obviously the customers will attract so that the client will get more revenue. So as a AWS engineer, we need to go for provide the quick response for the client application. For that, we are using this runtime. Coming to here, middleware. Middleware is nothing but it is a software. It will go for provide the communication between any two applications. Without communication, the applications cannot run in the smooth manner. So the customers feels happy if we are having the communication between any two applications. So that is the case we are using the middleware in the cloud environment. Coming to here, operating system. We are having the application, we will go for deploy that application. For that, we are using the Linux operating system, so that after providing the Linux operating system, then we'll go for deploy the application in the cloud environment. So it is easy for us if we are having the Linux operating system. So by using Linux operating system, we'll provide the application in the highly secured manner, as well as we will go for provide entire activity. We are having several operating systems that are Linux OS, as well as Windows operating system and Mac OS. Among those three, as a AWS engineer, we'll go for select the Linux OS. Once it is coming into picture, we will do our work. Coming to here, virtualization, we'll go for provide the infrastructure in the cloud environment via internet. For here, we are using the hypervisors. Wherever we are in, we will go for do our work. For that, we are using this Zen type of hypervisor for virtualization concept. Servers is nothing but for reducer runtime, we'll go for provide the n number of servers. For that, we are using that. Coming to here, storage volumes. For placing the data in the secured manner, we'll go for create the storage volumes. So coming to here, networking part. As a AWS engineer, we'll go for provide the high level security for the application. We will use this networking part for high level security of that application. So these are the things we'll go for checking the infrastructure as a service. Once it is coming into picture, so the client will get a more revenue because we are providing a proper infrastructure. The infrastructure wastage is also reduces, so that the client will get more profits. So this is the general work we are doing in the AWS environment. So for doing all these activities, we are going with the services, different services we are using EC2, EBS, as well as Elastic Load Balancer, Route 53 auto scaling group. So likewise, for completing this entire AWS environment, we'll go for discuss around 17 to 20 services. After completion of all the services, we'll discuss the real-time projects on that. So once it is completed, then we'll go with the DevOps environment. Here in the DevOps environment, we'll go for discuss around 12 to 13 tools, including Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform, Argo CD, Tomcat, all these latest tools we are using in this. So here also 12 to 13 tools we are using for DevOps environment. After completion of that, we'll go for discuss the real-time projects on that AWS environment. So so this is simply about entire AWS and DevOps environment. Any queries? Contact this number.